Facts. Like, that is ridiculous. It is way too late to be that motherfucking loud.
Tell you something, right? Before we get more into Debo Samuels,
I told you this would happen.
this whole wide receivers market has been completely like a monkey wrench in it. And you know what's crazy? It's not because of Devontae Adams. It's not because of who else got paid. It's not because of like Cooper Kupp. It's not because of those guys. You know who it's because of? The Christian Kirk. Once Christian Kirk got that bread, people was looking at like,
you just gave $21 million to a third wide receiver. Not even the number 2.
talk to him.
Not the one. You gave $21 million to the number 3.
Stop it.
Hell no.
Like once that happened, then it was like, yeah, like listen, Tom Brady, like you owe me, like you gotta pay me, like give me my bread. Everybody got a price, $1 million man kind of shit, right?
No, you know what all the wide receivers did? They hit the Fat Joe. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
And now they're doing the methodical one up shit. Like, okay, this one gets signed. Okay, 3 weeks later, I need to get signed for a little bit more. Okay, after that, I need to get signed for a little bit more. Remember, we talked about these numbers. Like we talked about these numbers weeks ago on the podcast here. We talked about all the guys that was getting paid and the numbers that they were looking like. Devontae Adams, $141 million. Tyreek Hill, $120 million. Christian Kirk, his $72 million. You know what I mean? Robbie Anderson, he got $29.5 million. Christian, oh my God, when he got 3 years and $60 million. Michael Gallup got $62.5 million. Allen Robinson, $46.5 million. Stephon Diggs, $96 million. Like they always just basically waited. They was like, oh, okay, now it's my time. I'm gonna go ahead and get paid. Oh, we doing this? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get paid. Oh, he got this? I'm gonna go ahead and get paid. So we're gonna start seeing a massive flux of wide receivers getting paid. And this may be one of the last years we see it, I think.
You said that you were going late for your
This may be one of the last couple of years that we see wide receivers because wide receivers are going to start getting treated like running backs too much.
That's the only way.
They're gonna,
owners are not going to try to come off $50 million for wide receivers like they do for quarterbacks.
so they're going to quickly.
They're going to start trading them.
So they're going to. So like we're seeing now, when it comes time for wide receivers to get their contract, we heard about how all these wide receivers were going to other teams, and we can see how many team changes we had. Devontae Adams team change, Tyreek Hill team change.
And those are the top 5 of the league.
Stephon Diggs, he did his team. He changed teams already. Like I understand, like we understand, like he signed with Buffalo when he switched over from Minnesota to Buffalo. So he did his team swap because that team knew down the road we're gonna have to pay this guy. We don't want to pay him.
I was gonna bring that to you. I was gonna bring it to you.
So like I said, I think maybe we got 3 years max of wide receivers getting their bread, but this is only gonna last for so much longer. Before the owners are like, and the owners are pretty sure already were like, oh no, we ain't gonna be paying these motherfuckers like this. Especially because whenever has the top paid wide receiver helped win a Super Bowl? How often is that? That's still not a thing. Is he? Okay. So because like before him it was what? Was it Michael Irvin before him? Was he like the last guy to do it? Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin. Like that's how long ago we're talking about since the best and highest paid wide receiver helped you win a championship. They're gonna start coming out. The only bad thing about it though is that as their value starts coming down, I'm gonna hate to see the EV's value start coming down. Like maybe they're gonna even stay higher because like, hey, we still have to guard the guys that just don't try to open up this offense to score touchdowns, like with a touchdown stopper. You know what I mean? So maybe they can get value because of that, but they're gonna take they're gonna probably take a $5 million on average hit, and their value's gonna come down a little bit. I don't know what's so funny about that, but okay. But maybe because you're right, the NFL's gonna start looking like wide receivers like jokes. Like they're gonna want, okay, running backs and wide receivers, these skilled positions now, and we could find them a dime a dozen, and eventually, now this money gonna start going to tight ends.
And if there is one position that you need what you can find, is wide receivers.
No.
Every day, all that you're seeing down, especially down here, me being very, very connected with the
And I know all the
77 leagues and
differences about
whatnot. That's all you see. Everybody wants to be out there catching passes, playing wide receiver and whatnot. Which in translate, you get years like this year, once again, where it just seems like there's wide receivers on wide receivers on wide receivers on the
instead
draft.
of it being a package for sacks, it's probably like a half a package. But then I could also tell you that
Well, that doesn't
this
sound good on camera.
isn't.
No, so get out. Leave that one over there.
Take the other
Here's what you want to say.
It's not.
Oh no, I'm saving that for the club.
It's like 10% more. So
Let's do this
It's-
because this
if
is
that
like
makes
not like you can like hit an income tax.
no, no, you.
Let us know what it is
but
here probably right now. It's actually loose.
I'm proud of myself for getting my
Still
score
selling
over the past day,
I be still selling pussy. Right, shit.
and
I
then
have to say, whoa, check yourself.
These calls are recorded for quality purposes. All right, so we have 4 left to give away for the next 2.5 hours. Next 2
not the
hours.
issue.
That's good. Hour and a half.
I can
Hour,
buy one of these.
hour 15 minutes now. What am I saying? You
I
started
can
with.
buy one of these and it lasts me like 4 days.
I did say I was gonna go to Shorty soon.
Because I know.
Let's see. I was
Probably like 15 minutes.
in the mountain.
Oh, brother, man, it's 4:20.
It's like, do you want it
I
off?
got to celebrate.
Celebrate after the podcast.
No. I gotta go home. I gotta shower. I gotta get high. I gotta have sex. I gotta eat. I gotta go to sleep.
So who wants Debo Samuel?
Who wouldn't want Deebo Samuel? It's just a matter of who would pay up for it, or who was San Francisco be like, okay, this is champion. Like,
So I guess the question
like
is,
I'm pretty sure if Green Bay come knocking on San Francisco gonna say, motherfuck you, I'm not trading Deebo Samuel.
so who wants Debo Samuels? You guys want Debo Samuels on your team?
They just got Tyreek Hill. They're alright.
Brian.
Cleveland? I mean, Chill Will? Oh, read it. Because, so I guess the real question is, who has what's necessary to give up for Debo Samuels? Now, I just said Chill Will, and I know, but I was thinking, if you're San Fran, are you willing to give up Debo Samuels for a quarterback?
I don't know.
You have a quarterback, so you have no reason to be giving up Deebo Samuel for no quarterback. You have 2 actually.
I guess not. And they go that thought. I just thought about it. It just popped in my head. I ain't giving no real thought.
And I just took it right out your head.
Now, obviously, the Jets and the Giants come into play because of their draft position. Based off the fact that they both have 4 picks in the top 10, and if we're talking about the top 45, they all have picks. You know what I mean? Like
If San Francisco was real petty, they would trade him to one of those teams.
and the Jets do have 2 number 2 picks as well. So the Jets have 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s, right? And so that's how their name keeps coming into because of, and that's how the Jets name really is coming up in everything that has somebody of value. It's not just to raise up the price. It's actually because the Jets have actual commodities to be able to go after something like that because they have 2 1s and 2 2s. But like, hey, I can give you these 2 2s for it. And what you say?
No.
And or I give you my number 10 pick for Debo Samuels, and we just ride out that way. Because it's a firm belief that the Jets are going to go after a wide receiver within their top 4 picks. Like it's almost a given. Like if not their top 2 picks, definitely within their top 4 picks. And then if you're, so it looks like Boston just won. They won this game. What's that score?
114 to 107.
Say it in the mic so the people in the back can hear you.
114-107. Boston. 2-0 on Brooklyn, tapping that ass.
So now they come back. Now they go back to Brooklyn, and they're gonna have to see what happens when we get back, or when they get back to Brooklyn. Because listen, like this is now. Again, I see this no more as Boston took care of their business. That's all I see this as. Like I don't care how the margins are. I see this as Boston take care of their business. Now Brooklyn,
Thank you.
you take care of business. Can you loosen up the blaze? Can you step inside the booth? You know what I mean? Loosen up the blazer, step inside the top. You know what I'm trying to say. Loosen up the blazer. Take off the blazer, loosen up the tie, step inside the booth and show that Superman is alive. Like, can you do that? Can you have that home cooking that shows you that shit? Because that's what Boston did. They rolled their home cooking. They took care of business. Can you do the same as Brooklyn now? You can't drop none of these games. Because again, you're a 7th seed. You're a 7th seed for a reason because you're inconsistent. So is your inconsistency gonna show up again, or can you find consistency at being at home? They play better on the road than they do at home. I think that Brooklyn crowd will stand up to it. That
Brooklyn crowd been
So,
going like suckers all
I'm
year.
gonna tell you right now.
Brooklyn crowd been going out like suckers all year.
The best crowd I remember hearing so far, all playoff series, may have been.
It's gotta be Phoenix.
No, actually, hold on. It may have been this Boston crowd.
Oh yeah, no, Boston crowd is crazy.
Yeah, because I've been thinking they were better than the Miami Heat crowd. And I've been thinking
It
that.
doesn't take much to be better than the Miami Heat crowd.
Also, I feel like the Miami Heat crowd have been way too respectful to Trae Young. Like, I'm gonna tell you this, they're too nice. They're soft. Yeah. I feel not soft.
They're soft.
I feel like they're scared.
Scared?
Scared what? Well, if they're scared, they're soft, right?
Exactly. You scared, you soft.
But I think they're scared to do the fuck Trae Young chance. Because they don't want to spark that Super Saiyan in Trae Young.
That means they don't believe in their team.
I love Leo.
I love
Hey, Gil, can I catch another one?
Huh?
Can I catch another?
Yeah, what is it, Yingling?
No, actually, can I get 2 of those infused shots?
2 what?
2 of those infused shots.
2 of those in a few shots. Yeah, you buy 1 bottle, it's $18, and then it comes out to 3.
Did somebody just say they miss Ben Simmons?
It's the gears of roll.
Exactly.
Okay, let's redo that. You can throw it on my tab? Or
Yeah.
You know what?
I heard somebody say I miss Ben Simmons.
Do it.
In the crowd?
Somebody said I miss Ben Simmons.
Do
What?
it.
Well, I could
Miss Ben
understand.
Simmons? You miss quitters? What? You miss losers? You miss liars?
I can
What?
understand. Okay, these are optimistic people, and they're hoping to get the best of Ben Simmons. So I can understand them missing Ben Simmons because when you're losing games by 1 and what's it, 8 points in lost tonight?
And fuck that wannabe pretty boy ass front cover magazine.
How is Philly and Toronto looking right now? That's a game about to start right now?
No, I haven't.
Right, it's 9:30, right? Oh, okay, I'm tripping.
No, yeah, that game is good right now too. I just can't put it on. I can only get the TNT shit.
That's what I mean. So there's no. There it goes right there. Philly, Toronto, 71-75 Toronto.
Oh no, I expect Toronto to win tonight.
This is game 3, right? Yes.
This is that whole shit. Tua not feeling pressure despite Dolphins' busy offseason.
Why would he?
I mean, kudos to you. You don't feel pressure.
That's the right answer.
Exactly.
Tua should answer. I'm not feeling pressure.
Not feeling pressure. Okay.
Is there pressure on Tua? Fuck, right? You're fucking right there is. Man, right, yeah, fucking right. Like, there's definitely pressure on Tua to get this shit done.
I don't know.
Now,
Like I made this.
what are you willing to give? Like, you're a Giants fan. What are you willing to give up to get Debo Samuel? What would you be willing to give up?
I'll give him Saquon.
Shit.
Because you're gonna have to worry about running the pay him or whatnot. You at least gotta get something back for that. Because at this point, would you really cut the check for Saquon Barkley?
So you saying get him, and then now you don't have to pay Saquon, instead you pay Debo, and you get a wide receiver and a running back. And you actually get the dynamic person that Saquon is supposed to be. I like how that sounds. I like how that sounds.
Because if you let Saquon walk for nothing, there's a chance that they can get him.
Let's give it away.
Little hits
Put
there.
3 over there. Gave me one.
I bring the other
So you
suit back right
remember
now.
that the fan you gave away for the trip.
Pretty much in both.
Probably. Okay.
This one on TV.
So, perfect timing, right? So, Baker Mayfield. I told you perfect timing, right?
know, I'm just
Mention Baker Mayfield.
Here's where I know.
The fact that I start laughing like that, as soon as I hear his name,
He's a no-show at practice.
who gives a fuck? Baker
You
Mayfield.
got handwriting? What does that say?
Who cares? Fuck you there.
But like so Baker shuts down the kitchen. Am I just like one, who cares? And then when I get out, then I guess that the next realistic question is who gives a same thing about like Debo, right? Mr. Right? What do you want to do with Baker?
Medium, $5 for Baker Mayfield.
Like, if you let me ask you this. Would you bring in Baker as a backup quarterback to put pressure on Daniel Jones?
It would be a Jerry Goff situation. You would have to give me a draft pick, a good draft pick. It's like, okay, we'll give you Baker Mayfield and a second round pick.
I think my appetite is building up for that Alfredo. Listen, take it how you need to take it, but
Oh, you said skinny guy and I looked.
take it right before you leave. That way, as soon as-
before I
Yeah. Like if you think you get a Wally gang, yeah, nah. Take that shit right before you leave, so that shit hit you as you walking up the stairs. You be like, oh shit, I'm glad I got this far. Yeah, I got here. Yo, baby, why is the floor lava? I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to experience a high where I feel like the floor is lava as a result. Like I want to be able to have that. Like the only time I've known the floor to be lava was as a kid. Like I want the floor to be lava as an adult. I want to go back to childhood. Yeah, I want to do shrooms. Is what I'm saying. Why are you looking at me like that? You just not smoking yet.
What type of sick individual are you? You said you want to experience a high when you think the floor is lava?
Yeah.
What kind of sick twisted shit is that?
It sounds like I have that childhood game. I'm jumping from shit to
No,
shit.
fuck a childhood game. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? God forbid you don't operate a vehicle thinking like that.
No, I'm not. I'm not on shrooms. No, we got like a 2-day. Yeah, we come out of this, okay? Yeah, some shit
Hey, calling on my
but apparently, based off of how my New Year's is, right? 3 days later, so okay, we was chilling.
Can I just come up here?
What's going on? Yeah, we welcome all of you back.
I heard you guys giving away a free split. How the fuck do we get in there? I'm a little high right now.
This way. If I guys said I'm a little.
We also take tips too. Just to let you know.
I already gave you my tip. I gave you 3 years of my life.
So well, I gave 7.
All right, brother.
So, what's going on, brethren?
Do I get a trivia question?
Yes, we get you. Okay, so you have trivia questions. So pick a number between 1 and 22. We have somebody else up for trivia. Let's see if we can get the answers right. Pick a question.
Pretty good.
Number between 1 and 22.
I'm going to say 11.
Everybody goes for 11.
You said between 1 and 22, so that's what.
What was Kevin Garnett's famous line after winning a championship? This is a sports show. Like, you know, I didn't come with any weed questions at all. Like at all. Like, what is the most famous weed in New York? Like, is that the question asked? Like, what is New Yorkers' number 1 go-to weed?
If you want to wake up, you want to wake and bake, you got to smoke a sativa. If you want to chill now, you want to smoke a indica.
Guys, let's have some weed trivia.
I don't have any weed trivia.
Pull it up on your phone.
This is a sports show. Okay. All right. So you didn't get that one. I'll give you 3 chances. All right. You know, let's do
So
something.
I'm from Boston, so do something Boston related if you can.
Who's the Boston team that I hate the most?
That's listen, I ain't gonna lie. That's gonna be.
Actually, no.
Well, you know we call you the
Actually,
Patriots.
no.
Celtics?
Actually, no.
Red Sox?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're from New York?
Absolutely.
Oh, no wonder. I actually leave.
Can't stand that fucking organization.
I can't stand the Yankees either.
Listen, there's other things. Okay, so the second question. So pick another number between 1 and 22. And don't worry, like
Okay, I'll do 22.
you'll do 22. Okay. Well, I'm looking for something as
Get a
we
beer.
get
Where's my
ready.
beer?
I don't know.
Gil, where's my beer? Oh, shit.
It's on the table.
Oh, shit.
It's one of those. It's one of those mango. Orange. Orange. I'm a Knicks fan. Orange. Thank you. That shit ain't even difficult. Like I'm a Knicks fan.
That's good.
We're definitely good. Where do you go?
Coming back and rap songs.
Okay.
I stand off camera? I don't know. Should I be in camera?
It's up to you. Okay.
Look this way.
Let's get this second trivia question going. Florida man music.
You ask the man the question or not?
I mean, I can't let the beat breathe a little. I can't let Aaron when you gotta let the beat breathe a little. You gotta wait some time.
The beat should be in between the questions.
When I was a young boy, growing up in the ghetto, hanging out on corners. Where's the tomatoes? All right, pick another number between 1 and 22.
22's not working?
Oh, we said 22. Okay. Alrighty. What quarterback has the most wins in Broncos history?
That's going to be, Broncos history is going to be,
John Elway.
LA.
Yeah.
Can I get some? I'm gonna get fucked up tonight. I got PTSD. I gotta cure something. We just cure my PTSD. Can I get one of these sweet Swiss to smoke? You gonna give me another question then?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you one more.
answer correct.
You gave
Give him the split.
That's a give you. Okay.
Facts.
co-host.
Give him the split.
Wait, slow down, Pimpin.
Never
Shit.
deny another man's sweet.
Respectful.
It tastes like Sunkiss. It's like Sunkiss and Sunny D.
Well, I'll be.
It does taste like a little Sunny D-ish.
That's what she said.
What are these hemp?
No, not him. I forget. That's probably.
I started like the first 2 episodes of the Lakers shit.
Is that
I
one?
want to watch that. No, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah. Like yourself out.
It was really good, and then
I'm gonna show you what I got going on. Maybe you guys can help me set up. Show you what I got.
Talk.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I have my own smart home automation.
Alan, you my boy, Blue.
Love you too, B.
I'm single. Robert. Hey, listen.
Check what I got going on in my house. This is our house, man. I need a host.
So what are we looking at?
I'm looking for a host. Host my house and then check this out. Really, in my auntie house. I built this house from the backyard. Oh, this is my
That
backyard.
is amazing.
You trade stock, my baby?
I'm sorry?
You trade stocks,
Yes.
you do.
Uh-huh.
So you heard of AMC?
Yeah, did you talk about the?
AMC GameStop?
Yeah, you talk about the
You said the bar you
the
found.
theater. I did. 'Cause
Right.
I wasn't sure if the music was copyrighted or not.
No. Oh, we broadcasting right now?
Yes, I'm live.
Oh shit.
100% live. Yeah. What do you think I was doing trivia for?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So I bought this house. I made off of one stock trade. I made $2.2 million. I bought this house cash,
Nice.
and I'm trying to teach people how to invest in the stock market and trade. So
Okay.
maybe that's my outlook.
Okay.
Reach some people.
And what are you looking to do?
I'm full time. I'm disabled from the army, but I get 9% is good for the army.
I understand.
And I just invest in the stock market and make a lot of money doing it.
Okay. So you said you was looking for a host for your house. What do you mean by a host? Like, so
I want you to come. This is my house. I want to host. Like, I want you to live stream from my house. A crazy party that I have going on Saturday.
okay. Which Saturday?
This Saturday.
I am working. I'm working for.
Then tell me which Saturday you're free. I got 2 months. I got my wife and sons are in the Philippines right now.
The Saturday after that, I should probably. I should probably.
That's fine. Just do. Let's do a couple of them.
You got it.
That's out of here.
Yeah, puppy.
How many people are watching?
Ladies,
I
absolutely.
don't.
Thank you.
I'm not too distracted right now. I don't do distracting things.
I'm sorry, man. I'm distracting the shit out of you.
No, you're
Go do your
not.
thing, bro.
We're interacting. I don't check numbers.
I know you're alive.
I'm interacting. And also, KJ, that's her little cousin.
Yes.
Cause he knows Nat, but you know, he like so. Like I think the first time he met Nat, you know how comfortable like Nat was just chilling in the middle of my bed and he was like, yeah. And he walks in, he was like, oh shit, let me know if I need to come back. I'm like, no, that's Natalie. Like cause Nat had came down and he had known that he had interacted like through the podcast and all that whatever. And the first was like, no, that's Nat. He's like, oh, you're Nat. And he was like, okay.
No, it's not even just because of that. She was sitting in bed doing the yoga stretches and whatnot. I said, I said, yo, you should have. I was looking like, yo, you could have gave a nigga the call.
You know,
That's why she in India now doing yoga.
Have you ever seen the pictures of how like David Beckham's wife like sits down and relaxes? Like Natalie Briggs like kind of relaxing like that.
That's my sister. She's crazy. Are you gonna give me a hug? What the fuck? Bro?
Oh, you gotta come
on.
around. You gotta come around
Come
here.
on now.
You gotta have to come around here.
Come on now.
You really killed that shit?
I took a shot. He took a shot.
Jesus.
Let's do it. Make it feel awesome.
Oh, it'll make you feel awesome, right?
Appreciate you coming
No
down.
doubt, no doubt.
We still have to catch up and see that straight happening.
Where don't get rid of yeah.
I'm not. Listen,
And if you find another magic carpet, I want that.
I got magic. If I need magic carpets, I got
I don't
you.
know why.
So we're not on TV anymore.
Listen, we're all into ladies that are into magic carpets. I got the easy.
Should have looked at myself, B.
So the guy on your left is, what's his name? Big Silly?
Ooh, what?
Is that Big Silly?
Big silly.
To his left? Me?
Big silly.
I just make shit up.
Oh. No, I'm the silly one. Yo, so the NBA honors happened recently, right? Or at least the NBA honors started rolling out. The first honors they gave out was Defensive Player of the Year, and I ain't gonna lie, I always get a little bit caught off guard when they start announcing all the season awards, right? Because I always feel like it was supposed to happen at the end of the first round. Like as soon as we get like the end of the first round, like those first games, that's when they start announcing it. So like this caught me off guard because I was still trying to sit here and determine who they were going to give Defensive Player of the Year to, and they ended up giving it to Marcus Smart. I'm not against it, to be honest with you. I'm not against Marcus Smart winning the award. I like what he does. What I was more surprised of is when I heard the fact that he was the first guard to win it since Gary Payton, right? And I was like, because when I first heard it, right, he's the first guard to win it, and there was a slight pause.
That's right.
My first thought was Tony Allen. You know what I mean? Like to be like that.
It's the first team on defense.
That's the first name. Let me do this real quick. Like, and then I'm gonna give you the bottle.
Fuck you.
I didn't know it was gonna come out like
I
this.
could do that at the house.
Exactly. You got big shit in your food?
I'm bouncing with him.
Alright, Pippin. Appreciate you coming through.
Of course.
Friday, yes. Alright. I'll check and make sure you don't fall asleep again. Alright, so then you went back and it was one again. So yeah, I always get a little caught off guard when they mentioned the the team awards or the player awards this early. I'm used to it coming back. I'm used to it coming out just a little bit later than this. But they started announcing it, and so far they've announced the Defensive Player of the Year, and the Defensive Player of the Year award this year so far they had 3 candidates, and this is basically the way that it works out every single year is that out of all the numbers and everybody that comes out there, they start dwindling it down to who the finalists are. And when it gets down to the people that actually vote, right? I need some Alfredo. That's a hard one. Right? Yeah, I just missed around here. I just realized that. When it comes down to, by the time it gets down to the people that actually vote, right? It's already they dwindle it down to the final three candidates. So these guys aren't the ones that keep voting and they dwindle it down to the final and they dwindle it down to the finalists. Or they don't get 12 names in front of them. Like no, they get 3 names and that's it. You guys pick between these 3 names and that's it, and that's how it gets determined. And then you figure out who's getting your first round, your first place pick, your second place pick, and your third place pick, and that's how you determine how many votes these people have gotten. And how they come in exactly which order. So like I said, Marcus Smart comes away with the Defensive Player of the Year award, and I don't have any gripes about not only the candidates that were the Defensive Player of the Year candidates, but also who ultimately in the winner. And I know how you guys know that. Like, it's not too often that I like to say anything good about Boston teams, right? Like I hold it tight and we'll have a vendetta against. But Marcus Smart is one of those players to be respected for his work ethic and for what he does do on defense. Right, so we had Miles Bridges, Rudy Gobert, Marcus Smart playing everything. And you see a lot of Phoenix players. You see a lot of Phoenix players coming out, right, and becoming finalists and candidates for a lot of these awards. That just shows you the cohesiveness and the kind of team that they had. Where they had an MVP candidate, they had a most improved player candidate before it got pulled down. They had a 6-man of the year candidate before it got, and again the defensive player of the year candidate. So they had candidates everywhere.
Alright, we're gonna like
The fuck?
Brian, what's going on? I don't know.
Wow, Southern man,
Bro, have a conversation on the air.
yo, hey.
Alright, here's the deal.
You don't like me?
No. I don't.
And so then now we continue on with the remainder of the candidates, right? And we have also the candidates for the Rookie of the Year. So
Well, here's the deal.
when it comes out to the Rookie of the Year, right? The candidates for Rookie of the Year are Scotty Barnes, Toronto, Kate Covington out of Detroit, and also Evan Mobley out of Cleveland. And this is one of those awards that, unlike the Defensive Player of the Year award, this is one of those awards where I'd be a lot, not just a little surprised, I'd be a lot of surprised based off of just overall.
Thinks you're gonna fuck with people.
What the fuck is going on over there?
I don't know, man. That's why we're not. I think she needed to go on camera. I think this will make some.
That's why.
I think this is a meme in the making, brother. This might be the
around.
meme in the making. I think you would turn the camera
Sounds
on.
like somebody needs to get slapped the shit out of her. Somebody needs to watch their mouth over there. Somebody needs to watch their mouth over there.
She's not right in the head, brother.
Okay.
She's on something.
Here comes the gorilla.
Hey yo,
What the fuck?
hey,
Say that about me.
you need to check this chick out here. I don't know what's going on with her. You need to check her.
Someone's gonna go.
You may have to.
I'm not touching a woman, so I'm not throwing her.
Hi. Hi.
Oh.
Somebody wants attention tonight.
Hey.
That's all that is. It's okay. So now we have candidates for rookie of the year, and while what Scott Barnes has done with Toronto has been phenomenal, right? Even what Cade Covington has done with Detroit is to be commended, right? He's put in a good effort. He surprised a lot of us. I still will be surprised, and trust me, Scotty Barnes makes a strong case. Believe it or not, Scotty Barnes makes probably the strongest case for number 2 out of any of them for what he's done. He has helped that team continue to be like a Swiss Army knife, like where it feels like where Pascal Siakam ends is where SOG begins. They have been perfect compliments to each other, and you see the work ethic that both you see the work ethic that he has continue to come through. And not only have the work ethic, we're talking about his energy. We're talking about how infectious he is. We're talking about his professionalism. So Scotty Barnes being in this category for Rookie of the Year is actually not surprising to me. Don't think that he's going to win Rookie of the Year. I'll be very surprised if Evan Mobley isn't a consensus Rookie of the Year. I'm not going to say consensus. I'm not going to say that he's going to win the unanimously voted and as Rookie of the Year. What I'm saying is that he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, I'll be very, very, very highly surprised. Like I said, he has helped this Cleveland team at one point in time get as high as the number 3 seed in the East. Now, granted, they did not finish as well as they would like to due to injuries overall. I got you. Yo, this is fucking delicious, man. Yo, I can feel this already relaxing my jaws. Pause. It's okay. Somebody wanted attention. Now you get the attention that you wanted. And so like I said, so when it comes to so Cleveland should definitely, he kind of has to hands down be your Rookie of the Year. So
Cleveland, this is for you.
As you get Evan Mobley in there as Rookie of the Year. We also have the candidates for most improved player. And tell me right now, I'm about to be lit up. I want you guys to let me know, who do you guys have for your most improved players? For the candidates, we have, again out of Cleveland, we have Darius Garland, we have John Moran out of Memphis, and we have John Tate Murray out of San Antonio. Now, there's a couple of individuals I thought got confused and were put in categories where they probably shouldn't have been, right? And one of them happens to be, when it comes to most improved player, right? Your most improved player, and even your MVP, I think that things happens to be a little off. When it comes to your most improved, you have Darius Garland, John Moran, and DeJounte Murray. And I think this is a category that John Morant needs to be in. I think John Morant needs to be more in the category of most valuable player in the MVP category. Now the crazy thing about John Morant is that he just didn't finish in the top 3. But John Morant was definitely in the top 4 in his voting. Or at least a top 4 candidate. So he was highly considered. But as much as he was a most valuable player, I don't know if he's been the most improved player this year. To be honest with you, I'm surprised to not see Tyler Hero in this category, Miami Heat's own. He's actually the individual that I thought should have been put into this category of most improved player. Now, when I see this now, right, and I take a serious consideration, because I feel like a lot of voters' eyes, when you see John Morant sitting in this category, you start thinking like, damn, how can you not give it to John? Like, how is John Morant not my most improved player? And those are the things that start rushing through your head. Now, I think this is the NBA doing their. We're trying to build a narrative thing, which annoys the shit out of me sometimes, right? Because, like I said, when you see Ja Morant here and you see Ja Morant's name here, you automatically start thinking like, yeah, he probably is. He is deserving of most improved player. He has helped this team, right? He has helped this team, and that's what you start thinking about. You start thinking about it more about what he's done for his team, and you think about how great and how well his team has improved. Well, I don't know if he is if he really just improved that much, or overall his team improved to get to that better position. Now, I do believe he has improved to the point where he should be considered one of these most valuable players. But yeah, this feels weird. This feels oddly like the NBA created that narrative where, oh, okay, first you need to go through being the most improved player, then you need to, and then eventually we'll consider you an MVP, and then and make them go through those steps and go through those different accolades. It's almost like they treat these guys like 2K characters sometimes. So for most improved player, I'm not surprised if it's going to end up being Ja Morant. I personally probably would have put Tyler Hero here, and I probably would have given that award to Tyler Hero. You guys know, right? You guys seen the podcast before, and you guys know I don't give a lot of credit.
Have you heard the song
unnecessarily to Heat players. But Tyler Hero did call his shot at the beginning of the season, and after calling his shot,
have you heard the song "The List of Lies"? That's a fucking good song.
After calling his shot and having that spotlight being put on him, he basically averaged 20 points a game off the bench, and he is one of the key reasons that his team ended up in first place as well. So again, like I said, this is a couple of places where I'm surprised to not see a couple of individuals. Most improved player, I'm surprised not to see Tyler here. When it comes to most valuable player, I'm kind of surprised not to see Ja Morant. I understand why he's there. I just don't understand why he's a most improved player. Now, where we do see Tyler Hero as, right, is in the 6th Man of the Year award. I told you, he's come off the bench and he's been averaging 20 points per game. He came out at the beginning of the season, he called his own shot. He came out and he was like, yo, when you guys say the names like Luka Doncic and Ja Morant and Trae Young, I need you guys to put my name in there as well. I need you guys to put me in that same category. And I think most of us laughed at him. Because they said like, yo, this dude is definitely down in South Beach, like sniffing that peyote from across the land, and feeling his own hype from the putas down here at the La Playa that's giving him all the attention.
No, I understand. Yeah, no, I understand.
But no, he kind of proved this wrong. Like, this Miami Heat team does for a lot of people and a lot of individuals. It does even to a lot of.
My brother's name is Jason.
Right, to a lot of even analysts, a lot of experts, where a lot of times at the beginning of the season, you don't see the Miami Heat coming. Like, you kind of figure they probably going to be like one of the top 4 teams. You didn't see them finishing as the best team in the East. But a big portion of them finishing the best team in the East is Tyler Hero. So again, like I said, Tyler Hero, as I just mentioned, I gave you all of his accolades, everything that he's done. He is most likely going to come away with that 6th Man of the Year. Won't be upset at that. I just also thought he should have been a candidate for most improved player. But also, when some players, when individuals vote as well, right, in their mind, that place for redundancy, right? That place for redundancy starts to come in, and they start saying to themselves, hey, how many times do we want to see the same individual in different categories? Like, we know that this person can possibly qualify for this, and we know that they can possibly. and we know that they could possibly,
I'll never let it get it,
and we know that, and we know they could possibly qualify for that. But you never fight. But you don't want to keep putting them in the same category because then it looks like there's not options and won't give anybody else an opportunity. It's kind of like when they said, like, oh, you don't put LeBron James in, but no, if you qualify, you qualify.
It's called Wakila. For camp that I went to when I was young. WAUKWELA.
And then we have the major category, right? Most valuable player.
The lighter again.
And then after that, we have the most valuable player. And listen, you guys start letting me know, right? So I'm also going to put this up on the social media, right? So you guys, so I'm stuff for y'all that you guys like it as well. All right, we have the big dogs, right? Where the MVP this year is definitely going to be dominated by a big man. It's always weird. Right? It's always weird how they always mention that this isn't a big man's league anymore, right? Or the big man is being phased out of the game. But when you look at it, when you come to the most valuable players in the league, they're all big men. And it's your point guard who comes in as number 4 jumping around, and Devin Booker behind him. Right, so at the position we consider the head of the snake, or the thinker on the court, or the guy that's supposed to be leading your offense, they're not the guys that's getting the MVP votes. Right? Those aren't the guys that you find dominating the game to get the votes necessary to have them be recognized as the most valuable players. No, that's going to Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. And even more so, the MVPs are not just all big men; they're all foreign big men.
I'm like, she said what's wrong with me. I'm like,
so when you finally get to when you finally get to somebody that is one American, also one point guard, it's not John Moran at number 4. Before you get to Luka Doncic, a foreign point guard.
Yeah, I mean,
guess what they are?
Mulatto.
Okay.
So those are your candidates. So those are the people that are going to be coming through and finishing up as your candidates for either defensive player, 6 man of the year. Oh yeah. And we already saw them give out defensive player of the year. And like I said, defensive player of the year. I wouldn't have been surprised if they give it to Rudy Gobert. That's what they're tired of Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert just rubs people the wrong way. You see your defensive number, but
no, I have it.
You still feel like you're not defensive. You're not dominant. But like I said, we'll continue to see it. We'll continue to get through the pop and get to those guys as well.
no, she got a card.
Now, as we talk about the NBA finals, right? We also have the rest of these playoff games that's been going on, right? And we start to get a chance to see how these series are starting to line up. And you guys already heard, right, a big portion of my take, right? And how I felt about a lot of these, right? As we see. As we're about to talk about Philly and Toronto, who they're actually one of the few guys that are in their 3rd game of their series, right? As this game goes on closer to Toronto, they did not get a chance to pay attention to, and they all get a chance to see which players were not playing for Philly as they go into Toronto. So who got that healthy scratch, right? For those DNPs, but we'll be able to take a look at all those. We'll take a look at all those DNPs before the next podcast. We're gonna get into how Philly so far has taken care of their home court, and even in this series against a team like Toronto, right? A team like Toronto, who, like I said, who just won a championship not too long ago, they still have a person like Scotty Barnes, who's one of the rookie, who's a candidate for Rookie of the Year, and we see how some of these rookies are doing. How
No, her name is Amy.
Chicken. What
Amy
dressing?
Dreamer.
I told her to put it on the side.
So, but you see in Philly that they take care of him, they take care of home and they put the cheese on the steak, right? And that's really all it is to me, is that they take care of home. I'm not here getting over excited about this because as you see, as they go back to Philly, this game is tied.
You're the living so devilish shit. I remember I was just like you smoking
So I hope that again, you have to hear lots of talking. So if you guys don't know that, you guys definitely need to come down here. You guys need to come and check out their experience. That's exactly what it is. It's a full day experience. So there's something that you're going to definitely be here to witness hands down.
The best of us are.
Like I said, that big game is Philly. It's still 95 miles. Still 26 points. 6 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. And like I said, that's why I don't get too overexcited because just like that, we see what home cooking does. Right? Philly was blowing Toronto out. Blowing Toronto out these first 2 games. As a lot of teams have blown out the first 2 games of these series. But then you see them go back to Toronto. And now you see that differential start to look a little bit more like what Philly is, or what Toronto is used to more than what Philly is used to. Let's take a peek at let's take a peek at this box.
I am in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Don't ever fuck with a machine gun television.
Let's see, you see Obi putting up 22 points already. You see Gary Trent Jr. with another 22. Pascal Siakam with 12.
Yep. I got my dad.
Let's see. And it doesn't look like we have any
My dad here.
and after we get it.
Ba-da-ba.
We haven't had a chance to take a look at him. Now, also that's why the Suns or anything whatsoever. James Harden is saying for 18 and 3 points to that's kind of what James Harden is nowadays.
Here, were you here listening to this guy? Were you here listening to this guy?
You want another order?
Were you here listening to this guy?
What it looked like,
By the way, I want to play some music.
last game, not right on to see what games look like. Obviously, go to the other teams on the court. Once now, that other side is starting now to fight to get playoff. So remember, now this is when that pressure starts to build and everything. Toronto realizes that I believe this playoff, they can't keep playing like that. The effort of playing, you got to give more effort. Whatever level of focus that we have to have more focus. Like they focus a lot more focus.
Depends on the day of the week, depends how the sun hits the.
But like I said, those first 2 games, right?
Kellyanne!
Even though we saw James Harden be semi-pedestrian, right? But like I said, just be what James Harden was 14 last game, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. But you got another dose, so it was another heavy dose of Tyrese Maxey. It wasn't just Tyrese Maxey putting up a career. It was just Tyrese Maxey having a highly efficient game, 8 for 11 shooting, 21 points. Tyrese comes out with 7 for 11. James Harden, he was out here going on tour like 3 for 9. Danny Green joined him 4 for 12. Joel Embiid was 9 for 16. Exactly. That was funny as shit. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's gonna be one of the
In the Bud Light draft, right?
Yes, please.
one of the funniest moments, right? In recent moments, right? One of the funniest recent moments, as well as like you like understand like that's just Jalen's swag, and that's that. But it wasn't just truthful. It wasn't just ridiculous and truthful. Where he was like, James Harden was putting up numbers like he was on tour. 3 for 12, 3 for 19, 4 for 15, 4 for 22. And the thing about it, like while he's right, people just didn't realize how crazy it used to look. in Houston. See, that 4 for 22 still ends up with like 22 points. When he's in Houston, he goes 8 for 44, 10 for 45. But it ends out 43, 42 points. He's to the line like 15 and 22 times. So that's how and where that looks different.
A way better place than he's ever been in. I'm not always
now, like I said, these first rounds, right, while you have a lot of teams that have won both their games. Hey, Gil.
So that's another thing too. So he was like, yo, Duffy's just fucking me over, Duffy's just fucking me over, can you get me a
sir.
Yeah, I got
those infused macaroni.
Yeah, the macaroni ball.
Yeah.
The only thing is that when I got on the job,
I'm gonna be lit today. This is why I took off tomorrow.
Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
That's my word. You know, I'm recommending you to come back after you got fired. Right?
Right, but the Mavs go ahead and they go ahead and they take care of their business, right? And they shot the Jazz. And it's weird, like I say that they shot the Jazz, even though the Dallas Mavericks happen to be the higher seed. We know that the Dallas Mavericks don't have their star player, right? Luka Doncic is still out of that cap, right? And he's still dealing with that. But and this is one of those games that we actually got a chance to see. This is why I said those really go good. Hey, stand with 8 points, 2 blocks, 17 rebounds. I doubt his presence sometimes. We see Donovan Mitchell go for 34 points on 30 shots. Alright, Jordan Clarkson come off the bench, 11 shots, 3 minutes. And not much more double-digit scoring from anybody else on that team. Exactly. It's the fact that you realize how, when you see losses like this for the Utah Jazz, you realize how bad they probably would have lost that series, right? Or how big of a point differential these series would be, or how lopsided, I guess to say, this would be if Luka Doncic was playing these games. They let Jalen Brunson go for 41 points. And it was funny because after that, I seen a Mavs fan post, well, who knew about Jalen Brunson? Tell me the truth. And the crazy thing about it, if you're a Knicks fan, you know all about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has been on your radar for basically a year and a half. Like that's the crazy thing about Jalen Brunson. So Knicks fans looking at this, they over here salivating the weird way, like, oh, get Jalen Brunson 41 points in an NBA playoff, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 general more. You understand? He got that floor general badge on, at least silver. Spencer Dinwiddie from Brooklyn dropped 17 points, 6 for 18 shooting. You seen Kleber come off the bench for the Mavs and drop 25 points for them. No, again, these are just like the first round to me. I feel like, and I don't know if it's the players that help or not.
Don't worry about it.
So you guys met before?
I feel like these players have a lot of possible upside, right? And granted, injuries are playing a role in this. Injuries are becoming some of the determining factors, or becoming the factor that open the door for some of these upsets. But that's part of the playoffs, right? That's part of the reason why we've caught teams now for years, right? For the last couple of years or so, for the last almost decade now, right? Taking up this load management mentality is the reason why players are no longer in condition to play 82 games anymore. And the ones that do, they don't get credit. They don't get credited with being considered one of the scoring leaders of the league.
Hey, fuck that shit. Hey, I mean it.
They really need to find a way to give out a point leader award that involves the total points. Like they have to find a way to truly reward the scoring trophy, because if LeBron James would have just played those last two games and somehow find a way to win the scoring championship, like that shit would have been completely fugazi.
I'm not.
And he wouldn't have just been stat packed. He would have been.
I'm not. It was my
he would have been accolade
birthday,
packed.
and
Like seriously. Like I said, it's shocking what the Mavs are, because the Mavs aren't doing it with Luka. But you have their replacement playmakers, right? Or their replacement point guards, Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, at least one of them dropping 41 points, 8 rebounds. Like, that's the shit that Luka would do to you. Like, if we saw, you understand that, let's say this is a regular game that has Luka, and we see Utah come over that first game, and then the second game, Dallas plays 110, drop, you know what I mean? I'm wins this game, we drop 110 to 104, and it's Luka down because it has 41 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, plus 15 to 25 shooting, 6 for 10 from 3-point range, 5 for 7. You understand we're going crazy. We're talking about him like, see, this is why. This is why. He's one of the futures of this game. And this is why, you know, when we had that talk about MVP and one of the best in the league, you have to involve Luka. And when we had that talk and we had Scott Frazier, who's the top 5 in the 25, you had to put him on Luka. That's the reason for this.
Oh, you want the tab or no? Take your time.
This was Luka this time. This was the backup. This was Jalen Brunson. This is the guy that the Knicks scouting team and the Knicks fans everywhere. And if you cover the Knicks in any way, shape, or form, right? Whether you talk about them because you pod or radio or you write about them, then you know that they're looking at Jalen Brunson. And we also know that this game, if Dallas wants to keep him, or if Dallas wants to play hardball, this also would have pushed his price up a little bit. Like I said, Knicks fans are always trying to connect the dots, and the dots can still connect here that Knicks fans trying to be hopeful for. His dad was a Knick. His dad was also the first client of Rose.
Brian, you don't know
Also, he was born in the area, and he's always from the area. Like that's the only thing. Those are the things that we're holding in the hat to. Like, okay, maybe this is one of those guys that wants to come back home. But remember, black guys want to come up, but give him a reason to come back home. Give him a reason to take that shot. Give him a reason to go through what is New York. Now, it's one thing that's that we have learned, that we all learned that R.J. Barrett is definitely one of the guys for us. I know this was for the Knicks talk, we talk the Warriors, we talk the Mavs, but we all know the Mavs are just the Knicks of the South. They got like 4 former Knicks players on the team. Well, maybe 3 now. They got rid of Porzingis. Still maybe 4 now. And we heard R.J. Barrett in a recent interview, and he says, he goes, yo, what pressure? There's no pressure in New York. What pressure? This is just basketball. I love it. Like, this is just fans doing what they do. They cheer, they boo, they ride the wins and they ride the losses. It's just them doing whatever. It's just them doing whatever that they need to do. And again, if you're a Knicks fan, you like that answer, you like that kind of talk, because that's not the way that Julius Randall was talking. That's not the way that we heard Julius Randall responding to similar questions about him. Now he talked about, it was affecting him and how he feel like he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. They were harsh on him, he could have him, he could have given him, they were both up. Well, play better. Make winning plays. Be a better plus minus, be a better leader. Don't be a pussy about your shit. And I kind of hate using that term now, right? Like, stop being pudding about your shit. Listen to some fun Susan.
Please.
Remove this? Yeah.
We still got Milwaukee and Toronto over here in the back. They're having their second game. Who else was getting? Who else had a game tonight, right? We have Boston and Brooklyn in their second game. Boston ended up winning that game. So Philly and Toronto. What's that Philly and Toronto score? Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see if we get a look on that game. So that game is in overtime right now, right? That game is currently in overtime, Philly and Toronto. And that game is tied 1-1 with 24 seconds left in overtime. We may see a second overtime in this Philly and Toronto game.
What are we doing? Irish, French, German. I don't even know what I'm that and Puerto Rican. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing here?
If we can get the game cast, that's right. We can take a little look.
What am I doing here? I don't understand what is going on.
Thank you. You're welcome. No, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. No problem. Have a good one, sir, and enjoy.
Okay, so I think we.
Like, I honestly. What?
So, yeah, so we have.
I have back
Game
here.
is 101.
I don't understand.
2.6 seconds left to go. So they've already had a whole possession. Yeah, we're gonna see a second overtime
What?
in this Philly and Toronto game.
No, but seriously, what?
This is crazy.
No,
You see-
I'm not getting you.
You see Fred Van Fleet kind of struggling, 3 for 13.
Like,
But everybody else is cooking. Pascal Siakam 6 for 16. Gary Trent 9 for 19. Nope. Chua,
I don't know what I did to you guys. And like,
Tyrese Maxey 8 for 18, 19 points. Joel Embiid is 30 points.
What's it mean? I saw you on the camera.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I see James Harden.
Super confused.
We're gonna have to take a little bit of tape and look and see if we see James Harden in this game or not. But yeah, we're definitely talking about a second overtime. This is gonna be game 3. So you know that Toronto is doing everything that they can right now to prevent themselves from going down 3-0 and going down that hill. They're trying to get this one game. You know Drake is in the crowd. Like if Drake isn't in the crowd, I think we'll all be surprised. Let's see, we got 2.6 seconds left. Oh, no, folks. Philly just hit a 3. 7 seconds
Go do
left.
whatever you guys want to do. Okay, bye.
104.
You said
101.
Hey, come here.
Okay, bye guys.
Yeah,
Go do.
you about to ask that Philly just hit a 3.
No, go do whatever you guys want.
I don't know. Hold on, give me a second.
No, I don't want to leave with you.
I don't have it yet.
Driving here. No, I'm done. I'm done. Like, you guys are talking about.
Yeah, please. Thank you so much.
You guys are talking about going.
Yeah, I don't have it in yet.
No, I don't have it either. Mine's at 101.
So Joel Embiid, 27-foot 3-pointer. From a Danny Green assist.
Oh, I just got it on mine. Come on, Jeremy.
0.7 seconds left to go. Philly's gonna go up 3-0, and that's probably gonna mean it's a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap for. It's gonna be a wrap for Toronto. You don't see them coming back in this series. Like, they made a good attempt. James Harden did look like he did play in this game. 38 minutes, 19 points so far. Who got the MVP? Millsap, DeAndre Jordan,
No, don't steal my fucking words.
Springer, and Joe. Let's see if those guys continue not to play in Canada. Then we know who's. We'll have an idea of who's not vaccinated. And then it's weird because once Toronto gets eliminated, then there's no more issues about players not being vaccinated or going into play in any areas. Toronto was basically the last place that had those kind of restrictions. I don't even think they have to worry about them going to play the Golden State Warriors anymore, who they're basically just playing with their food at this point in time. Right. I know everybody was just waiting to see what this team would look like when they're finally fully healthy, and they were waiting just to see what this team would look like. Well, guess what, everybody? You got your wish. The Warriors.
Warriors, come out to play.
Like, Warriors definitely came out to play. It's just that we didn't know that they love Nuggets so much. But I guess you know what? Everybody loves Nuggets, right? Everybody loves Nuggets. And this being a 420 day, like they definitely getting the best of it. Like they getting the golden Nuggets. They getting the best of the golden Nuggets. And
I'm
this, like kind of like Utah, right? Like this Nugget team, their losses become. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like their losses look so much worse than they are, right? And we start to wonder about if there's gonna be any shake up on these teams. And I don't know if that's a big market mentality or this is a small market mentality, right? Because I don't think small markets really think like that. Where they're like, okay, we've made it to the first round. We have a guy that's a potential all-star, potential MVP. We got to the first round, we get bounced. I don't think they have an issue with that. I don't think they automatically go into the mode that we need to blow this up for them. Like they're a small market team that consistently, like at least putting themselves in a position to win a championship, and they also have one of the best players in the league. I think that mentality is a big market mentality. I think it's that mentality that you have when you have teams in Philly and New York and in patient places like that, where you have a superstar level player. You go 2 or 3 times and they don't make it. All of a sudden you want to know how can we break this whole entire thing up so that we can try to get better when you're really there already. You know, you don't talk about breaking things up. You usually talk about just improving on things. But
comes right up, sir.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I have to try this. I really have to try this. I got myself some infused macaroni over here. I don't know if you guys can fully see this. I think I'll try this without my sauce. That is good. I just lost some macaroni, but that is real good. But, folks, the Warriors are definitely out here to play. And it looks like they're really just playing with their food. And I know we don't put the Nuggets and the Warriors in the same class, right? But are these the same Nuggets that last year, early this year, they were sitting at the top of the league? Isn't it the same Nuggets that may possibly have the MVP in the league twice now? Like, at some point in time, like some of these guys can't keep getting passes, and I think that's what we're getting now with the Nuggets. That even though it's a big market mentality, I think that we're overall just looking at the way that this team is constructed and them not being able to get over the hump when they have players that are recognized as some of the best players the way that they are. Because if they were in other markets, or if they were other individuals, you would be holding them to higher standards. But then again, they're playing the Golden State Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors have finally put in the lineup that I think that we were all finally salivating for. That everybody finally wanted them to use their VC and unlock this special lineup. So that's basically what it looks like they did. Like, all year we've been hearing about it, Well, they've been saving up their VC, they've been saving up their VC, and all of a sudden they had enough VC, playoff came, they bought this special lineup, and we've seen how this looks. You know, I told you that I generally have an overreaction, right? Based off of how certain teams look in their first 2 games in the playoffs, because generally I'm thinking that, you know what?
No, you're good. Don't worry.
I'm just basically looking at you like, you know what?
Sorry about that.
That you're just taking care of home. and that's really all that is. But when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, it looks a little bit different to me. And you know what? Before we go any further, we're gonna take we already should have taken a break today. I don't know where the hell we were at, where we've been at. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a little break today. We're gonna go ahead and get the calling line back up because, as you know, we just passed that 2-hour mark and they're gonna need to get reconnected again. So for everybody else, you guys already know you're gonna hear our commercial and Podbean, you'll be back up in just a second.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world, and they can respond, "I became a soldier."
Oh, I just fired me.
Those Philly sliders are fucking gas too.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous.
I'm gonna run one more time.
They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country.
I'm doing my podcast today.
One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world,
Okay.
and they can respond, "I became a soldier."
Okay, and we are back with the Mighty Sports Podcast. For your host, Donald Kumar Taylor. Thank you guys for listening. Again, this is Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody that's listening to the podcast. Now, as we were saying, the Warriors have basically unlocked their newest version of what was considered their death lineup or their death lineup 2.0. And if you guys remember how their death lineup used to look back in the day, is when they had Stephen Curry, they had Matt Barnes, they had Andre Iguodala, they had Sean Livingston on you understand, and then they had Draymond Green, and they just had those guys running rush on to be in those games, and basically you just couldn't figure out where he was going to be. They were spacing the court, like almost everybody was a ball handler. They all had great movement. They all played great defense. So it was just one of those teams and they all played with high energy. So you had to have your cardio up, and you had to have a high basketball IQ playing against that team, and you had to try to figure them out in basically 7 games, and everybody can do that. Like I said, still big up and shout out to Ty Lue and LeBron James for being able to pull out that one victory that year. So now we get another version of that when we see them with this lineup, and this lineup now has Stephen Curry along with Klay Thompson to go along with Draymond Green, and now the X factor is Jordan Poole, right? And you may or may not heard me say this already on the podcast. I think we just talked about this on Monday a little bit. We touched base just slightly, but Jordan Poole is basically Sean Livingston 2.0. So this doesn't even make sense. This makes sense even more to me on how they can call this the Death Lineup 2.0 because that's what Jordan Poole is. And the reason he's Jordan Poole, he's Sean Livingston 2.0 is he looks kind of exactly how Sean Livingston would look like if he grew up playing ball in this area, in this era. Not okay. Sean Livingston already had handles, him being a 6'7" point guard. Already had a pull-up game. Now you're really just talking about adding a 3-point game to his arsenal. And he already was a good 3-point shooter. You're just talking about him being a guy that's comfortable taking volumes of 3-point shots. where he was a guy who was just comfortable taking volumes of 2-pointers. Had one of the best mid-range games the league has ever seen. To go along with a post game, that's probably the one area that Jordan Poole probably doesn't have. So that's probably the one switch off, because they both have a decent pull up mid-range game. And they both can finish at the rim. You're talking about Jordan Poole just doesn't post up as much as Sean Livingston does. He shoots more threes, but that's basically something you could say across the board for almost every player or every position that utilizes the post. That their position now, or people in their position, or their individual that you're usually able to compare them to. That usually where those similarities start to come apart usually has to be with either pace or post and 3-point shot. But this Warriors team, this is one of those teams where I can't just sit back here and say, oh, this is just home cooking. Not at all. Like this is more than home cooking to me when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. This isn't just, oh, they took care of business. No, they are cooking. Like they are just taking care of business, and they're about to have some extra crispy quadruple fried golden nuggets. I don't know if you're golden after you've been fried 4 times. But I think we're about to have the Denver Nuggets as the first team to join the Archer Club. You know, you have filled this city. Warriors next game, I believe, is going to be tomorrow, or if not by Friday. But they're coming up next. They're not playing tonight. Like I said, this late game that we have on tonight is going to be Chicago-Milwaukee, so we get to see the champs back in action. We also witnessed the Grizzlies taking care of their business, right? And the Grizzlies game is the Grizzlies and Minnesota game. It's just an intriguing matchup. Period. Right? I don't care how you look at it, because it's one of those onion rings, right? It has all those different layers, and obviously the first noticeable layer is obviously the 2 young guns that you have that are leading their teams, right? One Anthony Edwards and one in John Morant, and you also see the different levels that they're taking their team to. Because if you think about this honestly, right? If you think about this honestly, or if you really peep this.
13 weeks on Tuesday, this past Tuesday.
Right?
I got a blue just like that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
If you really look at it, where Anthony Edwards is this year.
It'll be 6 in December.
6?
Yeah.
I've had labs. I got my girl a Shiba Inu.
Yeah, my homeboy's got one.
Dog, mine's a fucking dick. Expensive ass dog for no fucking reason.
Yeah, his is a little snippy little motherfucker.
Dog, this motherfucker, he's a boy too.
Oh yeah, he's got a girl.
So,
He's a fucking bitch, bro.
One of the easiest things, obviously, is seeing
I didn't even look
the young gunners out here, right?
I looked it up afterwards and it said they're like
you see those young guys going at it, and I'm like, okay, Ja Morant, we've seen you evolve to where you and your team evolved, where now you were able to go from the playing tournament now to where you're the second best team in the league. I'm not saying this is how far Minnesota's going to get next year, but they're definitely in their process exactly where John Morant and them was happening.
I don't know how
rookie year.
He's full
did good, but you didn't make the playoffs. You know what I mean? Look good, but not
the guy
great.
that I got him through.
Second year, he's still looking phenomenal. And in that phenomenal season, you don't make the playoffs, but you make the play-in. And to win that play-in game, you beat up his current team. You beat the Golden State Warriors.
He had like 9.
Minnesota, they come out and they beat the LA Clippers, and we know the historic players and the historic coaches the Clippers have on their team.
But I think everywhere I go, I'm trying to get him everything.
Yeah, you know what we gotta do, bro.
Because my girl is actually pregnant too, so I'm not trying to.
And
this wasn't him, but that's the list.
So
that's how like that was.
Now you get Anthony Edwards. Not good, not great the first year. But second year, you know what? Playing play-in tournament. They beat the Clippers.
Yeah.
And now they're going up against Memphis.
But now
And we really are talking about them being a year apart. So they're really like a year behind in the process when you really look at it. And we're getting a hell of a matchup here. And not only are we getting a matchup on the floor, we're getting a matchup also of personalities when it comes to John Morant and Anthony Edwards. And you can clearly see where these guys get their boisterous personalities from, because we also get to see a matchup between their two dads. And even that is nice, fun, and it's wholesome in its own right.
My dog's name is Blue.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's
And
Draco, my girl's name.
So originally his name was Baloo, like from a Jungle Book.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't respond to it. I'd be like Blue, and he'd be like, all right, well, Blue it is.
So this is now where we stand, and they're just a nice, intriguing matchup.
You was bigger than him, or?
Right, they're just a nice, it's just a nice, refreshing thing to see, because that whole entire matchup now is infused. It's infused with young energy, right? And not just infused with young energy, right? But they also play in cities where, because of either just size or lack of other sports, they treat their basketball teams almost like a college environment. So these guys are still in that weird ass college environment where, okay, it's my town against your town, and they get the big feeling everywhere he goes. He can't get too far. But that was somebody else that I needed it to be.
You said Chris, right?
Yeah. Yeah, shit as fuck. So when I catch these Grizzlies games, when I hear Memphis games, I'm intrigued. Like, these are almost as must watch, or even more must watch than Milwaukee and Chicago to me. It's more must watch to me than Philly and Toronto. And like, that's just how intriguing it is. The Minnesota and Memphis Grizzlies is probably up there, and maybe that's easy to say because they're the second seed in the league, but they're the second seed in the league. But that's not what you hear when you hear them. You don't hear second seed team. You hear Memphis. You hear Minnesota. And you say to yourself like, okay, but they are good. And they're good to watch, and I think they're good for TV, and they're good for the league, because
you can have two blues that have.
Also, again, like I said, what we're seeing here is the next wave of talent that's going to take over the NBA, and we're seeing it on all levels. We're seeing it as the next greatest in the game, right? Once as Kevin Durant, once LeBron leaves, right, and he's gonna automatically receive that mantle most likely. And then we're gonna see the mid-level guys coming up next to see that, okay, who's immediately gonna step into this role, or who's the next set of vets after Kevin Durant and them go up. And then you can see the young guys coming out, and then you can even see even the younger guys, because we're gonna break it down from like 10 the guys that's been in like for 10 years, and the guys that have been in like for 7 years, and the guys that are just now coming off their rookie contract, and the guys that are still within 2 years of their rookie contract. You know, it's like,
I thought he was gonna be like 65, 75 pounds.
On all levels.
And then I got him some
the NBA is in good hands.
And then he put weight on.
I said on one tier you have Kevin Durant, another tier you have Jason Tatum, another tier you got you have John Morant, and Trae Young and Luka and Anthony Edwards. Like, they're in another tier. Like those four. And in a weird way, we're gonna get this Memphis and Minnesota matchup, right? We're gonna get this Memphis and Minnesota matchup for years if these two teams continue to be good. But not just. Right, and now you even mentioned LaMelo Ball. To be honest with you, who's also here.
Until you like start sweeping or vacuuming, you're like, holy shit.
Or Cleveland with with Evan Mobley.
Black lab.
Mine was yellow. Yes, baby.
Like I said, we're getting it everywhere. We're getting it at every stage of who are going to be the next individuals to fully take over this league or take the NBA into its next into its next era.
I met Chris. He's the kitchen manager here.
I said, yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it so much, and we're seeing it right here in the playoffs. We're seeing it right here in the playoffs. More than anything else, we're seeing it with Memphis and Minnesota. That's one of them. Those guys will see each other. And they will see each other for a while. And things will continue to be interesting.
Yes, please. I can probably
Now,
go back to
we'll probably end up ending the podcast pretty soon. And we're going to end it on this particular topic, right? And we'll see what else pops up after this.
You want cold stone cake?
We're seeing now the last match that we have is
from somebody's birthday from yesterday that they just didn't take it, so
is the Phoenix Suns taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. And I remember warning you guys about these Pelicans.
It's like vanilla and chocolate cake.
I remember warning you about these Pelicans and about CP3. Because as this series is now tied 1-1,
Vanilla what?
Vanilla ice cream.
I wonder,
Vanilla ice
are
cream,
we going to
chocolate
see
cake. Thank you so much.
the most CP3 thing-ish happen? Yingling, please.
Ying bottle?
No, draft.
Draft?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Like, I really wonder if we're going to see...
Anything else?
Which voice in the background? It may just be people talking about I'm at a bar.
That's it.
So right now you hear me recording live from recording live from the bar. So if you hear any voices, like so you may hear a dog barking, you may hear a car driving by, you hear a conversation. Right. So that's what happens. Right now we're having our little New Year's over here. And as you guys know, it's 420. They have really good food here today. Like I said, so I've so far had their special shots and their special fried macaroni balls, and both of them are on fire. Yo, Chris, this shit is fire, B. and I can feel myself getting more docile like every single bite. Now, probably the last thing we'll talk about here, but it's okay, D-Bag. I appreciate the engagement though. Lets me know that you was listening. Thank you, I appreciate you, bro. Gotta get myself another Yingling in here. So I wonder if this is gonna be, if CP3 is gonna be the most CP3 thing that we want CP3 to do. And I thought it was going to be CP3 having his team having the best record in the league, him making it all the way back to the finals and losing again. But I realized there is a bigger CP3 thing that can happen. And that is them losing in the first rounds to the New Orleans Pelicans. That is the most CP3-ish thing that can happen. And it sucks to say this about CP3, it really does. But this is the kind of MO that he has, this is the kind of reputation that he has built. And granted, we all know what happens to CP3. There's always some kind of injury or something that happens in the crucial moments. But it also happens in a team that we feel like he should beat, or it happens in a moment where he has the advantage, and you feel like, oh, you should be able to at least take your team over this hump. And he usually doesn't have enough to get them over that particular hump.
Like the marbles like that, but
that's what's going on here a little bit, I feel like, with New Orleans. They let New Orleans back in the goal, and Devin Booker, he goes out with an injury. Right, to his hamstring. And now that he's out with his hamstring injury, the Pelicans just keep on cooking it, and next thing you know, they steal game 2 in Phoenix. And this is part of the reason why the question by Chill Will was probably also sparked is, what do you feel about Brandon Ingram? Because Brandon Ingram came out here and he cooked. And I'm gonna let you know something, right?
What's wrong, Draco? Come here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Who said what about what? That KJ was trying to bring up. But I do know one thing when I watch Brandon Ingram. There are times when he looks very KD-ish or KD-like. He looks very Tatum-ish and Tatum-like. He looks like somebody that's 6'10", 6'11", has a handle, is fluid with his handle, can pull up on the elbow, can pull up in 3-point range, can drive to the basket, can finish with.
Where do you want to go?
Can finish with force. I don't know how I'm gonna use the word force, but can finish at the rim with a strong flush, or could cut through everybody and finish with finesse and utilize his length to get off and get to the rim. So there's times when I look at him, I'm like, he looks very KD-ish. He looks very Tatum-ish, Tatum-like. Do I think he's on those guys' level yet? Well, obviously, the easy no is he's not on KD's level. Now, am I willing to say that he may be on Tatum's level at this point in time? Am I willing to say that, okay, I've seen enough from you after this point, enough from Jason Tatum to be like, yeah, you can swap me out with either one of these guys, and I think that I'll be happy with who I have. That's the next benchmark. Because to be honest with you, there's not a lot of guys in that build to compare to, period, right? And there are not a lot of guys that are good either in that build or in that archetype, right? If you want to talk in 2K terms, right? There's not a lot of guys in that archetype to go ahead and pick from, and there's not a lot of guys in that archetype that are successful.
But she used to stay in Boca.
So to be honest with you, when you're just thinking about it, and you're trying to determine, okay, is he better than Tatum or is he better than Durant? Well, that's really the two guys that he's on. That's really two guys you can really think of that he's behind. You can't think of too many guys in that category that even qualify.
That's how my dog is.
Giannis doesn't qualify in that category.
Things that like
right?
automatically
Yeah.
And it helps.
Like, so, how many more individuals in that category can you put in?
I'll get out the shower, man, or like.
And I'll be so weak.
And that's when you really start to wonder about, okay, now that we eliminated or tried to figure out who's even the qualifiers are, you see how quickly he gets into them. Because then, next guy you're probably looking at probably what, Pascal Siakam?
No more Draco.
He don't need no more neither.
Right? And then if you had to ask me if I would take Brandon Ingram over Pascal Siakam, I think I'm taking Pascal Siakam. I think I'm taking Brandon Ingram. So now you have to start finding, and I think we're going to work on that. We're going to start finding the qualifiers, those guys with that architect that could possibly even qualify to be in that same category. That
Wake up. Hi. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Come here. Look, I have a big version.
Kevin Durant sits on top of, but also involve Jason Tatum, Pascal Siakam, and also Brandon Ingram. Now, I don't want to go too left field about who Brandon Ingram is. Like I said, it's these kind of performances that has his questions are becoming 13 for 21, 8 for 8 from the free throw line, 3 for 3 from 3 pointers, 37 points, 9 assists, 11 rebounds. Those are those kind of numbers that you kind of expect to get from those other guys in those kind of build. Because they're just so long, athletic, wiry, acrobatic, that you should be able to get these buckets, be able to get these opportunities to put up these kind of numbers. Right? If you put in enough effort, you should be able to get these rebounds. You draw enough attention to get these assists. But we warned you that this may be a team that Phoenix needs to worry about, only because New Orleans is really hungry. New Orleans is not only hungry, but they're also just young and energetic at this point in time. And while they may have a point to prove, they also have nothing to lose. And that's weird to say.
I'm gonna use my drink though.
They're the number 8 seed. They had to play until they really have nothing to play for.
I don't use my hands. I put the drink.
God gave me these hands. You long rather.
They're really playing with no pressure whatsoever.
Me, her, and Becca. So Becca was crazy.
Brandon Ingram believes that he's nice. We know that CJ McCollum is nice.
She almost killed me.
You're talking about two guys that can give you 60 points on any given night. If Phoenix loses Devin Booker, that swings that scoring pendulum of guys that can easily get you 30 on a night in the favor of Phoenix.
I'm like, no.
So you need to watch out if they start getting Zion Williamson back. There's also a small part of me that also feels that this team isn't so anxious to bring Ja back because they probably don't want to fuck up the flow of this team.
No, I don't want to go there by myself. I feel like that's just greedy.
I think they worry about that cohesiveness that he has, or what it may take to start appeasing somebody like him in an offense where you didn't have to worry about it too much. But hey, maybe that's not a bad thing to have. Take some eyes and take some attention off of Brandon Ingram, off of CJ McCollum. You have 3 guys on the floor that can give you 25, 30 points on any given night. Now you have a team that if the 3 guys do their job and play with enough effort and identify, you're talking about being able to get 75 to 90 points per night from brilliant starters.
This man, he goes, I'll be opening the fucking fridge and he just starts barking.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The other Chris kid, you know what I'm talking about? Daniel's brother?
Yeah, Chris.
I don't know.
Yeah. I knew Chris.
Before.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep watching out for this and watch this hungry Pelicans team, see if they can take advantage of what is a wounded Phoenix team. And it's gonna be, and the worst thing about it is that if this Phoenix team finds a way to win, as much as there's gonna be a small portion of time, I'm talking about how this New Orleans team, without Zion, with or without Zion, beat a Phoenix team that had their best season in franchise history, and they beat them as an 8 seed. They're also gonna talk about how Chris Paul is feeling these months. Like, that's gonna come up as real talk. That's gonna come up as a real problem. That's gonna come up as a real issue.
Yeah, he wants chicken and waffles, so do I,
and I wonder if Chris Paul's legacy can continue to contain these kind of hits. I told you that we have called him Teflon Paul because for some reason, like, this shit really don't stick. Like he is worse than a politician. Like every time he starts to look into his background of a certain team, he leaves and goes to another team and starts all over. Like he's one of the only guys that has basically bounced before he can be fully blamed and it fully stick to him that he's the reason why his team isn't overcoming.
He bought the thing. And then the MVP.
I think we're just about done here, folks. I think we're just about ready to wrap this up. We're coming up on this 3-hour mark. Like 10 minutes left. Let's see if there's anything that I have on my hot sheets that I wanted to get into. Actually, you know what? We didn't get the guys from LeBron TV in here. They did not come through.
For all that you told today?
No, we'll go ahead and we'll see about them next time. But next week, folks, next week we have an interview. We're going to be here again next Wednesday. I think we'll probably be here through the rest of the playoffs. Right? But we're going to be here again next Wednesday. We're going to have an interview with the lovely Nikki Dykin. I do mean lovely. Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. I may have to go mellow on that one. I'm sorry, it's just my style. No, I'm joking. That shit was hilarious. I can see now why all of the staff today have been super fucking mellow. I'd be like, mellow beyond disbelief kind of mellow. I understand now. Like, if they've been doing what I've been thinking they've been doing all day, they can eat this good food and they shouldn't be eating all day. Good God. I remember going around. I used to I forgot what I had. I had like these edible cookies or something like that one time. A bunch of them. And I was in the worst cycle ever because I would get hungry, right? I'll get hungry, I want a snack. And I'll be like, ooh, I got some edible cookies downstairs. And then I'll go and I'll smash like a couple of them, right? Whatever the fuck I had was edible. I say it was a cookie. Oh, it was brownies. Right? And then you know, like, and I'll cure that little sweet tooth or whatever, and I'll have one. And then I'll, you know, you go, like, you get in your weed coma or whatever, you relax. You're chilling. And a big part of you, like, is trying to, like, chill, you try to get back sober or whatever, because you realize that your shit's kind of hitting me. But then, as you're starting to come back and gain your wits, then you start getting that feeling like, oh, I got a sweet tooth again. Oh, okay. You know what? And you go downstairs and secure your sweet tooth, and you may not have nothing else sweet tooth, but you be like, you know what I do have? I have these motherfucking brownies. And you go back and you grab yourself another piece of a brownie. Next thing you know, you start to chill again. It hits you again. You go back into like a night, like even longer now, deep weed coma, but this is now compound weed comas. Right? You come out your grogginess a little bit, and it hits you again like, damn, I'm starting to get hungry. So you go to fast food and eat, people like that, yo, it isn't big meal time yet. So I'll just snack. And then you end up doing that brownie thing again. I haven't done that for 48 hours before realizing it. And I was like, I want to order, I want to. Things are just a wrap. Man, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everybody that has come through today. Oh shit, you got a whole lot more left than I thought we would. That's what's up. That is what's up. We'll see how long I decide to chill out here on the last two. You never know how things go. How's this game looking now? Milwaukee's losing 63-77. See, so that's what I'm telling you guys. Like, they're just giving them a good time, a good hard time in Milwaukee. This is the division rivalry, and this don't even have them going back to Chicago again and starting that kind of quick. And you can see how Chicago's role players are really starting to shape up.
Fantastic.
Right? It's
fire. Jimmy Butler scored 45 points. I got fucking destroyed.
Alright, stay away from me then. I'm gonna smoke a real.
Go ahead, bro. The federal probation test is not really fucking secondhand smoke.
Really?
Yeah.
So why don't you just hotbox a car and test that method out?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why don't we just rob a bank together and I'll say I did it.
Very good.
Let's see how that goes. Let's see what
Giannis right now so far 16 points, 6 for 12 shooting, 4 for 8 from the free throw line, and also 10 rebounds already. Still about 3.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
I got one.
We'll bullshit with you guys, let it ride out until the end of the show. We only got like about 30 more minutes left. It's been a good show. it was always a good show. We enjoyed all this. I officially posted this book today. So like I'm wondering like, so even as I'm saying that these games are gonna go back and forth, right? Who do we have of these series winners? Like who do we think is gonna win? Like we still have Toronto and Philly. And
I got a question. Last time I heard that was both us.
Utah is not gonna win games without.
Did you want one more?
But I don't see a lot of hope for Utah. I really don't.
Yeah, got it.
I really don't. Golden State, I got to it. They're going to go backs right over them. But Denver is just missing something. And like I said, the big market at least is that shit fuck up. It's no market. Like, hey, these guys are making it to the playoffs. And then, you know, how the Yankees talk nowadays? These guys are making it to the playoffs, and what they do after that is a crap show. Memphis should take care of business. And now I'm rooting for New Orleans. Now I'm rooting for New Orleans to be fair. It's only because I just want to see if Chris Paul is going to be the major insurance plan for kind of liability he's going to be causing this team again. Alright, folks, that is my time. This is the MyT Sports Podcast. We're about to get ourselves out of here. Y'all better go knock this shit the fuck over because you know what? We are officially done. Like I said, don't forget next week we will have interviews with Nikki Daiku next week. We'll see if we can reschedule Lamar TV and get an interview with them. And next week we also may get an interview as well with the owner of RG Cash. Did I just hear you trying to come in here at the end? You know we about to wrap this shit up. Like if I do give you anything, it's gonna be bonus material only on Pod. You know, it's gonna be that Podbean exclusive bonus material. You only get it on Podbean and the OnlyFans page. You trying to be part of the OnlyFans material? I'm not even gonna do that to you. I'm not even gonna play the pause song. I was gonna be like,
sorry, dude. I tried. Honest. All the bandwidth in the world couldn't keep me contained. No lag, no lag.
You smoking today, Chill Will?
Gonna share my talents with Podbean Live. Always knew I'd take the pod there. Just a lot later than a lot of listeners thought. Last of the real gabbers. Well, maybe not the last. Munchkin got good mic skills. You improve my podcast. Potting down. Last call for drinks.
Sunshine. No, I don't do none of that, bro. I don't smoke, drink, none of that.
Don't want to go far. Wild night. Time, baby. Time. MyT Sports.
Alright, so we're basically just giving you bonus material at this point in time.
Right. You at this? You still at the spot? Huh?
Yeah, I'm still at the bar.
Okay.
Still right here at the bar.